Hello there, everybody, and welcome. My name is Tamir Moore, and welcome to the latest episode here on my YouTube channel. Also, I will invite you to follow me on social media as I often post there a lot. You can check out the links to my Twitter and Instagram profiles on this intro screen. And one last quick thing, you can check out my latest video by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And now it is time to start today's featured episode. Welcome to SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, and welcome to Fox's coverage of the 2021 NFC Championship Game. Which team will play the Cincinnati Bengals here in 2 weeks in Super Bowl XXVI? Will it be the number 4 seed, the NFC West champion Los Angeles Rams, or the number 6 seed, the wild card San Francisco 49ers? Well, we're about to find out. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Tamir Moore, and welcome to Fox's last game of the 2021 season. I cannot believe this is our final game of our 28th year covering the NFL. And on a personal note, this will be my last game covering the NFL doing these weekly YouTube spots. I'll have more about that at the end of our preview today. But welcome to this game preview, the NFC Championship Game, my final game preview of the 2021 season. It's been a real honor and real pleasure to prepare you for each and every game during the season. I will really miss doing this. All right, let's get into it. Up first, let's talk about the 12-7 San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers beat Dallas 23-17 in the wild card game. And then last week, the 49ers won a low-scoring game, 13-10 at Green Bay. And you want to learn more about that 49ers-Packers game from last week, and you want to get prepared and have some knowledge of that game, you can do so by clicking the card in the upper right corner. So 49ers won 2 games on the road to get to this spot. Meanwhile, the LA Rams, they were the number 4 seed entering these playoffs. The wild card game, they annihilated the Cardinals 34-11. And then last week in Tampa Bay, they were able to knock out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the divisional round by a final score of 30-27. So both teams have won 2 playoff games to get to this point. And one of these 2 teams will punt their ticket and win the NFC Championship here tonight. This is the 3rd time this year that the Rams and the 49ers have met. Teams first met in Week 10 in Santa Clara. San Francisco won that 31-10, and then they won the regular season finale 27-24. For more details about that Week 18 49ers-Rams game, which I previously covered on this channel, you can learn more information about that game by clicking the card in the upper right corner. It's pretty cool to cover a matchup twice in the same year because you're familiar with these teams like I am. Because like I said, I covered this matchup a couple weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, in fact, Week 18. And then we had the wild card in the division. So it's 3 weeks ago in this very stadium these 2 teams met. And how ironic it is 3 weeks later that these same 2 teams are back here again with a Super Bowl berth on the line. All right, let's talk about the 49ers. Sorry for the little sidetrack there. San Francisco advanced in the NFC Championship Game for the 2nd time in the past 3 seasons. It had the most championship game appearances among all teams in the Super Bowl era with 17. Kyle Shanahan led the 49ers to Super Bowl 54 2 years ago. San Francisco, 5 players selected to the Pro Bowl. Nick Bosa, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Trent Williams. And last week, San Francisco had a block punt return for a touchdown with Talanoa Hufanga scoring that with 4:41 remaining in the NFC Divisional Playoff game, which turned out to be a huge play as the 49ers won a low-scoring game in a chilly January night up in Lambeau Field. The 2nd latest game-tying or go-ahead special teams touchdown in NFL postseason history. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo passed for 3,800 yards and had 23 touchdowns versus 12 interceptions during the regular season. But weeks 9 to 18, he ranked 3rd in the league with a 103.2 quarterback rating. is 4-1 in 5 career postseason starts, has 10 touchdowns and versus 7 interceptions for 96 rating and 6 career start versus the Rams. 49ers rookie running back Elijah Mitchell rushed for 96 yards and a touchdown in the NFC wildcard game 2 weeks ago against the Cowboys when San Francisco won 23-17. He had 1,100 scrimmage yards, which is a franchise rookie record, and 6 touchdowns during his rookie year this year. Mitchell had 5 regular season games with at least 100-plus rushing yards, most of them on rookies, and he aims for his first straight game versus the Rams with at least 85 rushing yards. Tight end George Kittle, the 49ers, had 71 receptions for 910 yards and 6 touchdowns this year. He has 5 receiving touchdowns in his past 7 games versus the Rams. Led the team with 64 receiving yards during that win last week at Green Bay in the divisional round. 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel was one of 2 players this year, with Chargers running back Austin Eckler being the other, with at least 6 rushing touchdowns. Samuel had 8, most by a wide receiver in a single season, and 6 receiving touchdowns. He has 6 of those, Deebo did this year. And Samuel is the only player in league history with 1,400 receiving yards. He had 1,405 and 300-plus rushing yards. He had 365, Samuel did, in a single season. He has 5 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 2 receiving in his past 5 versus the LA Rams. And he aims for 4th straight game with at least 130-plus scrimmage yards versus the Rams. 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk had 107 receiving yards in the last meeting. 49ers wide receiver Jawan Jennings out of Tennessee had 2 receiving touchdowns the last time the 2 teams played back in Week 18 3 weeks ago. 49ers defensive lineman Nick Bosa ranked tied for first in tackle for loss with 21, which was a career high for Nick, and 4th in sack, 15.5 during the 2021 season. Has 6.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in 5 career playoff games. Linebacker Fred Warner of the 49ers has 31 tackles, 2 pass deflections, a forced fumble, and an interception in 5 career postseason games. He has 6+ tackles in each of his 8 career games versus the Rams. And Eric Armstead, defensive lineman, had playoff career high 2 sacks in the NFC divisional game last week at Green Bay, and has 5 sacks in 5 career playoff game. He had 2.5 sacks when these 2 teams played here at SoFi back in Week 18. And San Francisco, like I said earlier, 17 appearances in the NFC Championship / NFL Championship since the Super Bowl era began back in 1966. Second on that list is the Cowboys, and the Rams are tied for 3rd on this list, tied with Green Bay as a matter of fact. So these 2 teams are very frequent in the NFC Championship. 28 NFC Championship appearances combined between these 2 teams. Rams are tied for 3rd most NFC / NFL Championship appearances since the Super Bowl era started back in 1966. Got to remember 4 years, right? AFL, NFL for the merger in 1970. So these 2 teams often make deep playoff runs, and obviously that is the case this year. This is only the 2nd time, however, that the Rams and 49ers have met in the playoff. These 2 teams are bitter rivals, obviously, being division rival for so many years in the NFC West. This is just the 2nd time that these 2 teams have ever played in postseason. The first and only time came at the legendary Candlestick Park, which is now demolished, back in the 1989 postseason, and with San Francisco bludgeoned the Rams at Candlestick by a final score of 30-3. I was not alive back then, okay? But if you were a 49er fan in 1989, though, that team certainly took care of their business against the Rams, and the 49ers obviously won the Super Bowl that year, winning their 2nd straight Super Bowl after beating Cincinnati in Super Bowl XXIII. The previous year in 1988, they beat Denver 55-10 in New Orleans in Super Bowl XXIV. The 49ers did, which is the most lopsided Super Bowl result in history of that game, by the way. Let's talk about the Rams. The Rams 12-5 during the regular year, 2 playoff wins against Arizona and the Buccaneers. And for the second time in 4 years, the Rams are in the NFC Championship game. Rams head coach Sean McVay led the Rams to Super Bowl 53 after the 2018 season when they lost that game to New England. Rams had 4 players selected to the Pro Bowl this year: Aaron Donald, Matt Gay, Cooper Kupp, and Jalen Ramsey. The Rams ranked 3rd in the NFC in rushing defense, 3rd in scoring offense, and 5th in total offense, averaging 372.1 yards per game. And the Rams are the first team in NFL history to host a conference championship game in the same stadium that will eventually hold the Super Bowl. And the Rams, of course, if they win tonight, they'll be the Super Bowl for the second time in the last 4 seasons. And obviously, the Rams want to be here in 2 weeks for Super Bowl 56. The Bengals beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game earlier today, and the Rams want to stay here at SoFi and be the second team in NFL history to have a Super Bowl game in their home stadium. You know, the Rams will technically be the road team for that. The Rams will be playing their home stadium. The first team to ever play a Super Bowl in their home stadium with the Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55 last year, in which Tampa Bay just completely outplayed and outmatched the Chiefs in Super Bowl 55. It's crazy to me that for 54 years, no team ever played a Super Bowl game in its home stadium. It's pretty cool, and it is pretty astonishing to think it's now happened 2 years in a row with Tampa, and assuming the Rams can get past this game. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, who of course started his career in Detroit, was the top overall pick back in 2009 out of Georgia, now in his 13th NFL season, and first here with the Rams after him and Jared Goff were essentially traded for each other last offseason. I think Matthew Stafford's happy to be a Ram instead of being a Lion. Obviously, the Lions have not had a lot of playoff success. The Lions have not won a playoff game in more than 30 years. So, obviously, Matthew Stafford is very happy to be here. Matthew Stafford ranks 2nd in the NFL in touchdown passes with 41, 3rd in pass yards with 4,886, with 4,886, I should say, and 6th in rating, 102.9 during the regular season for the Rams. He passed for 366 yards and had 3 touchdowns versus 0 interceptions for a quarterback rating of 121.2, which is pretty solid. In their 30-27 win last week against Tampa Bay in the divisional round, and became just the 7th quarterback ever with a touchdown pass within 19 games during a single season, including playoff. And 2nd quarterback ever, Patrick Mahomes, last in 2019 being the other, with multiple playoff games with at least 200-plus pass yards, 2+ touchdown passes, and 1+ rushing touchdown during a single postseason. Rams running back Cam Akers had 445 scrimmage yards and 2 rushing touchdowns in 4 career playoff games. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp led the NFL. He had a sensational year, 145 catches, nearly 2,000 receiving yards, and 16 receiving touchdowns in 2021. 2nd most catches and 2nd most receiving yards in a single season in NFL history. Becomes the 2nd player, Hall of Famer Michael Irvin, 1995, the only other player to do this, with 12 100-yard games in a single year, including the playoffs all time. Had 9 catches for 184 yards and a receiving touchdown at Tampa Bay last week in the divisional round. Had 7+ catches and 115+ receiving yards in each of the previous 2 games against the 49ers this year. Rams wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. started career court with the Giants, played his college ball at LSU, had 6 catches. Odell Beckham Jr. was brought in mid-year, and what a difference that he has made since coming on. 6 catches for 69 yards last week against the Buccaneers. He had 6 receiving touchdowns in 10 games with the Rams, including the playoffs. Tight end Tyler Higbee had 2 receiving touchdowns the last time the 2 teams played. Defensive lineman Aaron Donald had 12.5 sacks and became the 4th player. Sacks became official league statistic during the strike-shortened 1982 season, with 8+ sacks in each of his first 8 seasons. has 4 sacks and 8 tackles for loss in 8 postseason games. Has 12.5 sacks and 18 tackles for loss in 15 career games versus the 49ers. This is an opponent that Aaron Donald obviously knows very well. Von Miller played at Texas A&M, started his career, of course, with Denver. Now he's here at the Rams. Had a sack, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery during last week's NFC Divisional Playoff game at Tampa Bay. He has 7 sacks and 15 tackles for loss in 10 games with the Rams in the playoffs. Another mid-year acquisition. Von Miller, what a difference he has made on the defensive side. That's like OBJ just enhances the Rams' offense. The defense for the Rams is enhanced by adding Von Miller to the mix, a Super Bowl champion, of course, from time with the Broncos, winning Super Bowl 50 at Denver, defeated Carolina back in the 2015 season. I remember watching that game. And, of course, Von Miller won Super Bowl MVP, of course, in that Super Bowl 50 game as well. Rams linebacker Leonard Floyd had 4 sacks in 5 career playoff games and 9 career playoff games for Von Miller to wrap up his point. 5, he has 8.5 sacks and 9 tackles for loss. And finally, Rams quarterback Jalen Ramsey, who played at Florida State, started a career in Jacksonville. Here he is with the Rams trying to get his first Super Bowl championship. Jalen is the only player with 15-plus pass deflections, 16, and 5 tackle for loss, 9 in 2021. He had an interception in the Rams 27-24 loss during the regular season finale. And here's a nice stat for you here. Since 2002, when the NFL expanded to 32 teams and the NFL realigned to the current structure of having 8 divisions with 4 teams each, this is the 4th time in that period that we've had a conference championship game that features the divisional rivalry. The first time this occurred was 2008. Ravens played the Steelers in the NFC Championship game in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won that game 23-14, and the Steelers beat the Cardinals in Tampa in Super Bowl 43. In 2010, the Packers played the Bears in the NFC Championship. That was at Soldier Field. Green Bay won 21-14. They won the Super Bowl that year as they beat the Steelers in Arlington at Super Bowl 45. And most recently, in 2013, the 49ers and the Seahawks. Of course, Richard Sherman made some plays in that game as Seattle won 23-17 in a bitter NFC West rivalry. Seattle won the Super Bowl that year, Super Bowl 48, over the Denver Broncos at MetLife Stadium. And for the 4th time in the last 21 years, we have yet another division rivalry in the conference championship. To make a long story short, the previous 3 instances, the 2008 Steelers defeated Baltimore, AFC Championship, won Super Bowl a couple weeks later. 2010 Packers beat Chicago in the NFC Championship, won the Super Bowl. 2013 Seahawks beat San Francisco in the NFC Championship game, won the Super Bowl. So can the Rams follow that same storyline like the 2008 Steelers, the 2010 Packers, and the 2013 Seahawks? We'll wait and see. This is the NFC Championship. These 2 teams will fight. This should be a ferocious, riveting, enthralling battle. Hopefully, you'll join us starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern for this NFC Championship game, as Super Bowl 56 berth is on the line for one of these 2 teams. The winner will go to the Super Bowl. We'll be here at SoFi 2 weeks from now, and the loser season is over. And finally, as a side note, this is my last regularly scheduled NFL football telecast of the 2021 season. And like I said before, I want to thank you for watching all of my YouTube videos this season and all the YouTube videos that I have done over the last several years regarding the NFL. I love doing this for you guys. And this is the last NFL game which I will be doing a pregame preview for. So this is a very sad occasion, but it's been a great run. Y'all have been a great audience. I really thank you for watching, taking some of your precious time to tune in and watch these videos and get better educated about the game of football. It has been an honor and privilege for me to research, write notes, and talk football with you. And I want to remind you that I'm not going away entirely, even though I won't be doing these anymore. You can follow me on Twitter at the Tamir Moore, and you can follow me at Instagram at the same handle. I will be covering the NFL there And like I said before, I will definitely miss doing this. It's been a blast, but all good things must come to an end. And like I said before, I invite you to go and look through my channel at all of the previous NFL pregame videos that I have done. I think I've done over 100 of them by my own admission. And it is time for me to sign off and say goodbye to this. So, for the last time, I'm Tamir Moore. Thank you so much for watching the NFL on Fox and all of my pregame videos for the last 4 years, and especially during this 2021 season. See you later. What's up, guys? It's Tamir Moore. I appreciate you for watching today's video, and I look forward to seeing you next time for another YouTube video. In the meanwhile, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out my social media profiles and my YouTube profile, which I provided in this outro screen. So long, everybody, and have a great day.